Fuck it. We'll do it live. Woo! Let's watch videos. It's been a rough night. It's been a rough day. Let's see. Oh, shit. You probably want to hear.
$1 million rental in absolute ruins. So some of the members of the most popular TikTok house ever have been sued for essentially leaving their $6 million rental in absolute ruins. Are we surprised a bunch of teenagers with the egos the size of a blimp didn't take care of their $1 million rental? No, not really. But how bad could it have really been?
Burn down the hype house! Right.
Quick and being careful because on our lease it says specifically we are not allowed to light fireworks.
Wait, you can't light fireworks? Can that be a lease? Want to play a game? Not really, that's a lease. I just got home and I just ate.
Oh, well that's a nightmare for the landlord. An expected nightmare, but still a nightmare. So this landlord is claiming this group caused over $600,000 of damages according to this KTLA article. I guess this is one of the
I don't really have enough time to play anything.
Self-snitching for clout because all of the examples used in this lawsuit were uploaded to their own YouTube channel by them. I mean, there's just montage reel on montage reel of them just absolutely obliterating this house.
What are you doing? It's probably not a good idea in the house.
I think it's going to be a hard ask to rent a home for a TikTok house right now. And if you don't know who the Hype House is, you're probably over the age of 22 and or don't cover internet stupidity for a living, but essentially they were
What is the Hype House?
TikTok collectives at the time. They had the Lil Hoodies, they had the D'Amelios, they had the Daisy Keaches of the world, and they had a whole lot of lawsuits because they just couldn't get along for whatever reason, or well, it seems like the whole business was built on, oh, you have TikTok followers? Cool, me too. Let's all move into this house and create a business together, because that'll probably go over well. So the house was already falling apart after a couple months. Maybe not, well, maybe it was physically, because we do have evidence of that here as well. But especially the group was falling apart. The house, maybe because of them as well. And that kind of explains why they allegedly didn't pay all the rent, because they ended up moving out early. And I still just can't get over the self-snitching here, because it is next level.
Why? I don't understand why people think this is a good idea. Like, living in a house with other people sounds horrible.
I can only imagine how painful it is to watch those clips as the landlord of that house. So he does go into further detail here.
The most disturbing thing of all, after I saw these videos of them riding skateboards in the house, this is they broke all my tiles. All the tiles were perfect. I mean,
see, they watched that Mac Miller show back in the day.
Nah, it's hype, not horrible. Are you kidding me? Imagine staying in a house with fucking 20-something-year-olds. I assume they're 20 because they're able to rent the house. I mean, they could be like 18. They're at least 18. With a bunch of 18, 20-something-year-olds who fucking make their living off of doing stupid shit. That sounds like the worst fucking living you could ever have. Like, no matter how much money I was making, I don't think I could physically do it. It just sounds awful.
Broken right here, broken here.
It sounds
meddling
awful.
Kids who rented my house.
These big broken tiles that are like
could have gotten away with a fat payday.
Broken here.
Without a damaged house.
Here, there's so many broken tiles.
Now he just has to sue him for the fat payday.
How this happened. So I really don't know how they did this to the pool though, but the pool has like 11 motors for the jacuzzi, and now only one of them is working. The heater is broken. The control panels are broken, both of them. There's some videos of them jumping off the roof here.
What in the
How do you break the motors in a jacuzzi? How do the motors in a jacuzzi break? Oh, water balance. bad switch, low water level, high water temperature, trapped debris. I'm gonna guarantee that's the one.
House didn't they break at this point? The dude rented his house to a bunch of kids role-playing Project X.
On a hot day, you can't walk on this roof because it's a tar roof, and then you ruin all the roofing, so the roofing's messed up on the roof now too. Then all the furniture.
I mean, hey, at least they had a good time.
It was brand new, and all the furniture looks old and worn out now, and a lot of the cushions are broken. So that's our first glance right now.
They would have trash cans right here with trash overflowing, and the trash would get stuck on this return, cause the machine to freeze, and it would burn up the motor. So we would have to replace the motor. You come in here, you're going to see all the water damage and mold once again. This is water damage. There's mold, black mold. And this is the unit that I pulled chunks of ice out of because it would freeze at night. They would have it set at 65. The room would say 68. It will never hit 65 and it would cause water damage. There's water damage up here on the grill. You can see right here. It would run.
Good fucking lord. Why the hell would you rent a place like this and not fucking... I don't understand. Like, if I get something nice, I take care of it, you know? I like for it to last. Like, what the fuck are these kids doing?
Down on the ground, causing water damage.
Just fucking neglect.
Bruh. That's such a young adult thing to just not take out the trash, let the trash overflow. I'm gonna be real, I did that in the start after I moved out. Because, I mean, like, you're grown up, you don't want to do chores. Also, in my case, I worked as a janitor, taking out the trash sucks, but I mean, you have to do it. I can definitely relate to the part of letting my trash pile up way too much. Not to the point where it blocked an important vent, which ruined the AC and caused a bunch of black mold, though. That's a lot of collateral damage for forgetting to take out the trash. I mean, it's a very wealthy frat house. That's essentially what it looks like.
That's what it looks like.
This is probably like all the headaches the people who rent out to frat houses have to deal with on a regular basis.
Yeah, but they get like a huge return in frat houses.
How did that happen?
How?
Did someone come through the ceiling? Hold up. Enhance. That's wild. Yo. They got the whole ceiling falling through. That's like some serious carnage. At first you were showing like the smashed tile and stuff, which, I mean, that's expensive to replace. But having the entire ceiling like that? How does that happen? I'm like impressed with their ability to totally obliterate a house and film themselves doing it without thinking they would get repercussions for it. But a KTLA article says his former tenants agreed to pay him $10,000 a month over 40 months for the damages and for moving out of the house 5 months early. However, since they left in January 2021, Fitzgerald says the group has only paid him $2,500 a month. They're young. They think, oh, they don't have to pay and they can make up their own rules. But they have to understand what they signed. They signed a court document and you have to live up to it. The group's former landlord says that despite the lawsuit, he still likes social media influencers. They're nice people. We just want Thomas to pay the bill. Thomas is the boss, you know, and he has the money. Or if you get the other people to pay it, that'll be great too. Believe it or not, the experience with the Hype House has not stopped Fitzgerald from renting again to social media starlets. Apparently he's renting out the house to a new group by the name of Selfie Pop. Never heard of them before, but the more you know. But he goes on to say that's the problem because they have all the money, man. Yeah, so I guess he kind of is in a little bit of a pickle there because the people that can afford that much rent a month normally would just be buying their own house. So I feel like you would kind of need to either rely on people who are in town temporarily or young people that haven't built up their credit enough.
People who are in LA
like
for filming.
They're doing a good job. So good for them. So let's see, if we search up this dude Thomas, he posts a whole lot of content bragging about how much money he has.
Better ingredients, better pizza. Better money, my clothes better, my shoes better. I work harder. We'll see these dominoes.
He forgot to add more rental debt. Flexing like this while being 6 figures behind on rent just, it seems a little weird. Definitely an influencer moment. I mean, influencers are notoriously
I wish we would stop calling them influencers and calling them what they are. Puppets of entertainment. They ruin their lives and we enjoy, but you should never be influenced by these people. If you're influenced by these people, you need to get some real world experience. You have failed as a human being. You have not learned what you needed to learn, and quite frankly, I'm starting to think that there's a lot wrong with you.
Capital. Not a lot of influencers mess up this hard. Like, is not paying really worth going to court for to get a court order to pay? At that point, sell a car or two, and then you don't have to worry about it ever again. That seems like the logical move here, if you're not liquid enough to pay it right away. Just the thought of this court case is entertaining, because the landlord's gonna be like, they ruined the house. And then the judge is gonna be like, all right, where's the proof of that? And then the landlord's gonna be like, they filmed it all themselves. Here's a 20-minute reel of them absolutely obliterating
That's what I'm saying.
the house. Yeah, case closed. All right, so since I recorded the last segment, I did actually get in contact with the landlord, and he sent me the lawsuit for us to take a quick look at. Factual background: the defendants are members of the famous TikTok group called the Hype House. Well, they were. I think a lot of them have left since then. Defendants ultimately breached the lease agreement by vacating the plaintiff's home 5 months early and causing more than $300,000 in property damage. I'm assuming
$300,000 in property damage? Dude, they did enough damage on that house to buy a house.
the $600,000 damage in total is probably the unpaid rent plus the damages that we saw here. They agreed to pay the plaintiff a total sum of $400,000 over 40 months in consecutive payments of $10,000
I thought they did.
per month.
I thought they did $300,000 of
2022,
damage. I was like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Stopped doing that by only paying $2,500 a month. As a direct and proximate result of the defendant's breaches of settlement agreement, plaintiff has sustained damages in excess of $200,000. Defendants are jointly and severally liable for the performance of all obligations under the settlement agreement, including.
I get it, like, you know, you got a lot of money, you want to flex, but like, out of the amount of money you caused in damages and back rents, like, you could have bought like a brand new car, because you guys seem to really like the fucking fast cars and the expensive Lambos. So why not just fucking take a little time to take out the trash and clean up a little bit? Maybe not scuff up the furniture or skateboard inside the house. You know, the things your mom and dad tell you to do when you're a kid.
Payments of the entire settlement amount. Settlement amount provides.
Or here's an even better one. They're making all this money, right? Why not hire a maid? Hire a maid. Because there's no clout in that. Yes, but let's say they do all this shit on the inside, right? Okay? Maybe they can't prevent the fucking destruction of the tiles, but like the whole fucking destroying the AC and having all the water damage, that's like $100,000 worth of damage right there, dude. And then fucking you just get a maid. You're already making all this money. Sell a Lambo and lease a fucking maid company for like a couple of months, dude. It's really not that hard. They don't have to come every day. They fucking come once every 2 weeks.
If the party is required to bring a suit to enforce the terms of agreement, including the obligation to pay money, the prevailing party shall recover his attorney's fees and costs. So, it looks like the Hype House members have done a massive financial oopsie. Either way, this is going to be very expensive for them. Today we learned if you are a deca-millionaire landlord, don't rent your house out to the Hype House. Subscribe for more useful life hacks.
Yeah, nah. What should we watch? You know what? Let's watch the fucking mini lab video. I fucking hate this
video
pic.
is to educate people on the history or dangers of the person mentioned in today's topic. Do not harass or hunt down anybody that's mentioned in this video, and keep all comments or opinions you have in the comment section.
So at this point, does it really matter? Will people make videos on what I'm saying right now?
Yes.
Probably. Do I care? I used to. A lot.
Who the hell are you fooling? You still do care. A lot. Also, it definitely matters when the people you're shouting how's it going at are kids scrambling up the playground slide that you're standing at the bottom of with your mouth gaping open. That's the problem right there, Craig. You never shut your mouth. People have been wanting you off the internet for almost half a decade now. Yet you just keep swinging around your balls and letting out your happy calls, expecting everyone to rejoice for your great return. Celebrate with parades out in the streets, but in reality, people hold the same value to you now as they do to a ripped up sticker you would find in the middle of a Walmart floor. Alright, welcome back, ladies and ladies with dicks. Mini Lad trying to get Mini Lads to touch his Mini Lad is a cryptic tale that's as old as time. It's known by many, even becoming a popular tongue twister among schools up there with Peter Piper and Sally the Clumsy Whore at the seashore. And it's also been a
Sally
long
the
ass
Clumsy
time
Whore.
since I talked about it. Over 3 years to be exact. Back to when I was only 16. Now I'm too old for you, Craig. I'm sorry. If you're a seasoned soldier of the British channel, I'm sure at one point you remember he became almost as Voldemort of my channel, where saying his name on any video I posted would be instantly banished. But if you don't know who Mini Lad is, I'm going to assume you're just too young to know and probably shouldn't, but at one point he was a very thriving YouTuber holding over 5 million subs to his name, having some slight help from this very unknown indie group called Vanoss Gaming. And when I mean slight, I actually meant all, because he was the least funniest and most untalented person of the group, but he was a part of it, so people subscribed. His main gimmick to be funny for the group was portraying a sex offender named Pablo with the crew.
Once there was a man. His name was Pablo. Pablo was not a very good man. He liked to have sex with small children.
He said it was acting, but Larry Craig also said he was straight, so I'd like to think it's just rehearsal for what happened next, which would be him getting exposed for grooming multiple minors, one of them Hallie going into a deep breakdown providing more than enough evidence that proved every accusation, showing him saying disgusting things on text and other apps to underage people. Craig would post a horrible apology called Clearing the Air, and I've seen OJ than what he did, because he brushed over all of his actual allegations, announcing them all as untrue, then dropping the mic, like we were supposed to give a standing ovation after. And that's where I was basically forced to stop covering him, because YouTube slid him the Predator pass like they did with the Cupcake Commissioner, and that's where most people stopped following his story altogether, thinking he left for good or was no longer even a part of the internet. However, that couldn't be further from the truth, because he's actually tried to come back multiple times, making sure to miserably fail each time he does, desperately trying to prove he's not a danger to anyone anymore, which we know isn't true. Your personal data or information isn't in danger either. When we that's why I've been using a quarter of our customer rep. Thankfully, or I am the edge of life due to how to put minor in video scheming from money, because it will compare is always on.com/Briz to start your own 2-week free trial.
Mini
Also,
Lad
link down below
wasn't
in the
to show his Mini Lad to some Mini Lads, yeah.
Silly Squid Billy and what he's been scheming from when he first left all the way to present day. So after his apology video, he lost all monetization on his channel along with every sponsor he has, basically reliving his YouTube dream ass backwards, starting back at square one. Out of desperation, he would release a second apology video, finally giving everybody the reason of why he decided to end his career off this minor inconvenience. Out this sob story about how he was teetering on the edge of life.
I'm not wanted.
He was
not
at
yet.
The time. It's almost like I heard the same thing come from all of these crusty, dusty, chronically musty, predatory lips.
The reason I did what I did, and there was even a message where I said this, is because what I said there is true. I did try to end my life at the beginning of 2017.
Too bad
I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for anything. This is not what this is about. This is telling you guys the reason. And I just want you to understand the headspace that I was in. The reality is I was being selfish. I wasn't thinking about precautions. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was just being stupid. And I really want to apologize for that. I just wasn't thinking.
You're being made to, or else you would have done it in the first place.
I regret it. I have regretted it since. And for that, for both Hallie and Ash, I'm really sorry.
Then what is this about? If it's not about you, then why even mention it? Because to let King Midas flick my balls gold and let the truth be told, nobody gives one luck of a fuck in this situation about you. The point of an apology is to ensure to whoever was affected that you respect their emotions and fully realize how your actions was harmful to them. Instead, you choose to go into this self-suck-off, wanting people to feel more sympathy over the guy that thinks Cuties is deserving of an Oscar over the actual victims that were affected. Apparently, he was also caught being extremely disingenuous in this apology, cropping certain screenshots to twist the context into being slightly in Mini Lad's favor. Of course, nobody was buying it, along with his last excuse giving out the classic he wasn't thinking about how he could secretly talk to children without getting caught. Yeah, definitely not a thought goes behind something as elaborate as that. Not even trying to show a sign of remorse, treating it all as if it was just one giant oopsie daisy he made, like somebody leaving their fucking oven on, just a happy little accident that happens to the best of us. You decide to do the bare minimum, being to actually apologize. Of course, only because you were publicly eventually backed into a corner to do so with no
Pretty
way
much.
out. If none of
Pretty
his
much.
victims shared this story, we would be still forced to watch meme streams
Yeah.
with his face looking like he's on the brink of ejaculation on every thumbnail. That was the last video he would make as Mini-Lad, but sadly he would return as Craig. You see, for some reason, Mini-Lad thought returning like he was at the finale of an episode of Extreme Makeover would win back people's hearts for him, seeing himself lose a lot of weight. In almost every case, I would congratulate him, except in this case. I would have been happier if he returned back like Mikado and had his office chair be a forklift. Due to the amount of weight he lost, Craig instantly starts to what I believe fronting about how this current stage after the cancellation is the happiest he's ever been in life.
And I told myself, I'll come back when I feel happy within myself. I know that I'll come back when I feel like...
Are you kidding me? You think... Seriously, if you're happy after all of that happened, and I'm in a better headspace. No, you're not. You're just hoping and praying. Oh God, please let him forget. Had a nice little, Oh, I'm sorry, and he also had a nice little siesta into Ireland. You know, where they have non-extradition laws. Just saying.
Sound kind of crazy. I'm now the happiest I think I've ever been in my life.
You gotta be ashamed of yourself, nigga. Real talk. You gotta be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, that's a
I got
solid
away
man.
with
He
it. That's why he's so
food.
fucking
He
happy.
just goes there to see Wendy herself. In all seriousness, though, here we go on the merry-go-round again, putting yourself worthy of excellence, acting like what you did was redeemable, and we're all gonna smile with you. If you do something to the extreme of traumatizing a child's life forever, you shouldn't show any sign of your existence on the internet again, because it's one of those dick-brain decisions you're not coming back from, or reversing at all. He would also mention his time at therapy, which made himself realize who he was meant to be, saying he opened all the dark chambers in his mind to open the idea of his true purpose. I mean, the shit sounded like Batman delivering a monologue, so I'll let that play out now.
Having a therapist, for me, was that. I could go into the really dark places of my mind, and everyone has these closed-off doors, right? That they don't want to go into because they're scared, and they don't really know how to fix it. But what therapy...
Yes, but most of us don't open the door and let the fucking Hydra come out of the fucking chamber and start fucking talking to children in inappropriate ways. See, that's the difference between all of us, Craig. Some of us think about murdering people, but we don't murder people. You thought about something very bad, and then you did it.
And just this entire process has allowed me to do is open up those dark chambers, clean everything out, and just see who I am, who Craig is, not Mini-Lad, not...
Craig is Mini-Lad, touching Mini-Lads.
Anything else, just me.
You almost want to feel better for him until you remember why you don't, and then really think that maybe he wants us to feel better so he could gradually crawl his way back into being a content creator again. Oh look, another video. Why I left Twitter, and you should too, where he would immediately blast in everybody's face that he was donating money to charity, saying he...
I don't think Mini-Lad actually left Twitter. Wasn't he banned? Because they literally said that he's a pedo?
He's been ignoring all the haters on Twitter by raising money for cancer support. That's a pretty low way to get people to like you, even for you, Craig.
We're gonna be answering questions like, for those who are wondering why I left Twitter, and then I lose my mind. Almost raising money for the Macmillan Cancer Support.
What the hell has happened to his videos? He done turned into Coco Felon. There's just music, woobly-doobly sounds and effects happening everywhere at once. It's like skibbity brain rot for children. Who is getting paid to still edit for this kid diddler? Or why does he even have somebody willing to edit for him in the first place? I'm not exactly a psychic by any means, but you can easily tell he ain't doing all this shit out of the kind.
That's a good question. Who the hell is editing for him? Because I don't think any self-respecting person would be like, oh yeah, you were a predator? Dude, fuck yeah. Let me edit for you, man. Either that or somebody who's like just under a rock.
Of his heart. Pretty pure manipulation from him again to get people to join back to his side.
Those who are wondering why I left Twitter, it's because it's a fucking dumpster fire. I'm trying to figure out my issues. All I care about is my work, the people around me, and my family. Everything else, I don't give a fuck about.
Except you obviously do, or you wouldn't dedicate a whole video towards it, then mask your intentions on returning being pure by throwing the smoke screen of charity at the start to hide the fact that you can't get your career back because of your own dumbass decision. Mini-Lad would go on to pretend to be this pillar of peace by creating another video saying why getting canceled was the best thing that has ever happened to me. He's like the perfect example of that crying blowjob. And this one he says,
no, dude, fucking everything that comes out of his mouth is like 100% unfiltered copium, dude.
Having his career sniped off the map made him finally feel like he wasn't enslaved to YouTube's algorithm. Because of the unfathomable amount of stress and work it took to keep up with it, treating this platform like it was some North Korean regime where they would send assassins to his front doorstep the moment he took a break from making content.
Every day I cared so much about proving myself and trying not to make this career go away that in turn I lost my mind and I let my career go away. If you take a week off, YouTube kicks you out of the algorithm, you're fucking why.
I'm not gonna go full Hassan here and say making YouTube videos is more challenging than working in an oil rig, but it can be challenging to keep up sometimes, especially with the attention span we have today where we need GTA racing gameplay and a guy cleaning his fucking sidewalk on the bottom of a screen in order to keep people's attention. Unless you have somewhat of a good personality, which is something Minilad made sure to prove he doesn't.
I honestly believe where if you blow up whenever you're younger, you don't have enough time to grow as a person before your life gets taken out of your hands.
Sorry, I missed the step in the male evolutionary cycle where you're supposed to groom minors. Never saw that part in the chart. Or have my old man sit me down and tell me this is a plunge every man must make in life. I mean, what the hell does any of this have to do with you ending everything that you relentlessly work towards over your sick ditty ass wanting kitty titties? Just failing to understand, Craig, and how going onto your channel just so you haven't made a post in a week makes you want to post out in front of a school. I'm not really seeing the dots connect to how you thought this was an acceptable way of relieving your stress.
No,
He
it
spent
wasn't.
all of this saying what he did before, so he had the time to become the person he was destined to be.
Why do I believe it's the best thing to ever happen to me? Because I finally got
Because he has nothing left.
way to not be Minilad.
Cluster, the YouTuber I got this information and clips from, made a pretty good initial point that I similarly wanted to state, but I feel like there's no other way of saying it without basically stealing his argument bar for bar, so I'll just let that play out.
And how the only way you could grow as a person required you to commit a crime, which ended your entire YouTube career. And if this was the best thing to happen to you, are you really sorry for what you did, Craig? Were those two now deleted apology videos truly ungenuine?
Considering the first apology he did would be creating false allegations that he pretended to debunk wouldn't be enough to show he's not, I really don't know what else will. The genuine apology would be to quit content as a whole, because that's what misled innocent people to get hurt in the first place, was you thinking you were some genuine funny guy that they were excited to talk to because they idolize you, only for you to exploit their trust and body. Quitting that would mean no more potential harm can be caused, because how many predators have said they changed before? You won't have to think long, because it's damn near every single one, only to get caught in the same shit in the next few months. After this, he posted videos that had dislike ratios similar to the trailer of Infinite Warfare, so he would feel demotivated enough to quit again. But just like the box goes, he keeps coming back, this time entirely on a brand new channel called Good News Everyone. And you would think it would be actual good stuff, like somebody from your cancer charity getting saved or Amy Schumer retiring, but no, instead he speaks about Logan Paul, the corpse cinematographer, teaming up with KSI to make new juice bottles, like we could give one quid of a shit about what a proven scammer does in his free time.
Okay, let's watch one of his videos.
These are 3 good news stories from around the internet to make you feel better in 30 seconds or less. Ready? Go. Mr. Beast has 100 million YouTube subscribers. On July 28th, Mr. Beast's main YouTube channel surpassed 100 million subscribers. Personal announces new partnership with Prime.
I'm gonna guarantee you anything that he tried to make a new YouTube account so that he could try to get a new AdSense account so that he could start making money again on YouTube, but then he wasn't allowed to.
Props to the gentleman that recorded this video off of tilting his Samsung fridge. Apparently this project for Minilad did not work out because his channel just doesn't exist anymore, meaning he must have swiped that shit off the net once he realized no matter what form of content he makes, the public isn't gonna mess with it. While all this was going down, Holly, one of Minilad's former victims, commented on how Craig was desperately trying to reach out to her to what he called
I'm pretty sure he did, yes. I knew it.
A poor attempt of manipulation to convince her to tell the internet that he's changed, so people would be more willing to accept him again, seeing how he has the approval of a first-hand source. You guys can read the whole thing. I'm not going to for time's sake. A little spoiler: Holly thankfully
he makes me want to
denied any
punch
call
him in
or
the
text he
face.
sent, most likely
just
knowing
so
it was
many
a trap
times,
for
just
Craig to make
over
himself
and
look better.
over and
Minilad would
over.
also be caught trying to get in contact and make
And
amends
with a
the
V2
Vanoss
model
crew.
too, I
Notable
believe.
being the
Oh,
member that
wow.
he reached out to picked up a stream talking about the conversation they had together.
Bit of a secret, guys. He texted me recently. That's right. The man, the myth, the lad. He texted me. It was actually a nice text. It was actually a nice text. So, I texted him back after a while. And I was nice. But I was like, well, you know, it is what it is, bro. You know? Hope life goes well, family's well. I texted back. And then I ended the text, P.S. taking the meme stream.
You can make what you want of that, considering the history Nogla and the other members shared with Minnie. Even if he didn't decide to leave the group, I'm sure those allegations would have made the other members leave him regardless, so I kind of see it as the two coming to some sort of closure about how everything ended. Craig would continue to try to stream, surprisingly leaving his donations on, which is a pretty brave move to do, especially when he makes sure to check each one he gets. On one stream, somebody sent $3 calling him a disgusting piece of shit that will always be remembered for what he did. You think Craig would respond to this one? Well, he did sorta by frantically running away from his computer saying he had all his facts wrong.
Received a donation that said, "We won't forget what you've done, Craig. Sending and receiving inappropriate texts from minors, threatening these poor girls to keep them silent, and then played victim. You don't deserve to stay on this platform."
Hang on them? I don't know what you're saying. I'm gonna go. Oh, by the way, to the person who just donated to me, please get your facts straight. Thank you. I'll be back.
You can clearly tell that question
Get your
shook him
facts
to his core,
straight.
almost triggering his reaction to fight or flight with that singular
he
dono,
literally
like
admitted
watching
to
a
it.
pelican shit itself. He did have his facts right, though. In fact, the only person that's cut context out of facts to turn them into fictional fantasies is you, Craig. Later on September 20th of 2024, Minilab would fire up a stream coming to the shocking realization that people—
Wait, so did he act? Go back.
I'm gonna go. Oh, by the way, to the person who just donated to me, please get your facts straight. Thank you. I'll be back.
You can
He
clearly tell
admitted
that
to
question
it.
shook
He
him
made
to his
2
core, almost
videos that
triggering his
admitted
reaction
to
fight
it.
or flight with that singular dono, like watching a pelican shit itself. He did have his facts right, though. In fact, the only person that's cut context—
Minilad seems like the type of guy that goes, "Yeah, that's a bird. Oh yeah, that is a bird. No, it's a plane."
out of facts to turn them into fictional fantasies is you, Craig. Later on September 20th of 2024, Minilab would fire up a stream coming to the shocking realization that people are going to dislike him no matter what he does.
People are gonna hate me no matter what I do.
Yeah, because you're a
I've learned to
scumbag.
accept that.
Yeah.
I can say, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And there'll be people out there who will find a way to shit on it.
Well, that's not the only thing we could really shit on. You went through years of gym sessions just to be muscular and strong, yet you look less intimidating before you even started. But you are right, and I feel like everyone should have the right to, because what you did deserves to have people throw tomatoes at you every time they see you. It's pretty much going through the 5 stages of grief, and I think we finally moved to the stage of acceptance.
Will people make videos on what I'm saying right now? Probably.
You bet your deflated ass I will, because you're still doing all this for attention and eyes to be on you. If you truly weren't bothered, it wouldn't be something you would take out of the time of your day to start up a live stream and speak about it multiple times to prove that it doesn't affect even a nerve out of you. It doesn't really sound like a person that doesn't care to me.
Make videos on what I'm saying right now? Probably. Do I care? I used to.
He cares so much.
And you still do. It's pretty obvious. I mean, you won't stop talking about the opinions of others and how they view you. That's definitely something that you're not even close from moving on from yet. I fail to see how he thinks people are just going to casually forget about it. Like, what other reaction do you expect from people other than disappointment that you're posting? Craig would do one final stream announcing he was stepping away from YouTube to focus on his quote-unquote side businesses. Don't even want to take any guesses to what kind of Epstein sideshow he's got running over there, but he was painting himself to be this very hardworking man that's making sure his priorities are straight.
I'm at a point where I have my side businesses and like that are doing great. If anything, one of them continues to grow from strength to strength, which is fucking awesome.
Anyone who says, "Do I care?" usually cares. Because he's out here spitting straight fire. Yeah, usually people who have to address something, almost 99% of them care. If not more.
Awesome. But it's also getting to the point where I know that I'm limiting myself on the growth of that, because I have to make sure streams are good and I have to prepare for streams and yada yada.
The only people watching your content are potential victims or people that hate watch. There was no point of even uploading in the first place. The only show people want to see you on is 60 days in, but if the days were switched for years, you're still failing to come to terms with the fact that your content and the name Minilad can never come back anymore, because you're acting like there's still some option of you having a successful channel in the first place. I think that's going to wrap the video up there, because there's not really too much else to say. Minilad will try until the sun explodes to revive his channel, and miserably fail until the end of time. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to slap a like before your dad slaps you, subscribe to hit my vibe, and make sure to follow all my socials, especially my Instagram.
That's pretty good. I like that. That guy was pretty funny. I should have fucking followed him. Does anybody remember what his fucking @ was? I'm gonna subscribe to him. Is this it? Oh yeah, that's it. Who's Jack Doherty?
I really don't know what's more impressive, the fact that Jack can swing a sledgehammer or the fact his sledgehammer did 0 damage to the car. Also, what the hell is that rap supposed to be? A weather forecast? Just looks like actual dragon vomit. Seems to me that's all you're smashing though, because those two girls in the background just couldn't give one clit of a shit about you. You have a $300,000 car parked in front of Tony Stark's mansion and they both still on their phones. You almost have to try to be that boring. All the haters in the comments about to write something in the comments to cope with the fact that it'll never be like me. Then we have Jack.
Oh, I know this kid. This is the kid that fucking tries to intimidate everybody, and then he gets his bodyguard to fucking deck them while they're not looking. I know this kid. He's such a fucking pussy. He's one of those kids that if you beat his ass, I guarantee you, he would learn more from you beating his ass than you fucking talking to him like a human being.
Reunion with his sisters and cousins. You are right about one thing though. The last thing I would ever want to be like is somebody that's built like a malnourished bleach Mr. Meatseeks that has to go pay his girlfriend 6 figures in order to get some cheeks. Alright, welcome back ladies and ladies with dicks. It's been quite some time since we checked in on the human equivalent of morning breath known as Jack
No,
Doherty.
seriously, he has this bodyguard and he's a big ass motherfucker. Like he like street fights. But like he like walks around in like malls and like bumps into people and like threatens them, and then his bodyguard comes in and gets between him. He's like, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" It's like, honestly, he's one of those kids that either A, his dad needs to beat the fuck out of him, or B, an MMA fighter needs to beat the fuck out of him so that he really knows what pain means.
Showed what a gentle guru he was, never laying a hand on anybody he started fights with. Instead, he sends his bipolar glue-eating goon to go throw hands for him, some of the time completely unprovoked. I'm sure you remember the one instance of Jack's guard having some Winter Soldier episode where you propelled his fist into a gentleman's face, almost like I was watching some Tekken 7 finisher, for practically no good reason at all, which led to Jack's very first lawsuit, all because of him trash-talking an OnlyFans girl for rejecting him, despite telling all his middle school fan base to go see his limp 1-inch shrimp on his own OnlyFans account on a daily basis, making sure to drop the link in every pinned comment across all of his videos, even reaching to the point of desperation that he promoted a sex tape between him along with his girlfriend. Thankfully, I haven't seen a second of that pisser-mashing marathon, mainly because Jack still looks like he's fucking 12, so watching that would almost feel illegal, like I'm watching that scene out of mid-90s where Stevie lost his V-card. The brave souls or deranged yeasty beasts that did see it, however, described it as looking like two lesbians playing bumper cars with each other's clits. No passion whatsoever. It's rumored Jack was almost falling asleep while he was balls deep, and Michaela was radio silent, not moaning at all, not even letting out a scoff. It goes to show the lengths Jack will go to gain any attention since he's lacking length anywhere else.
It's all mentality, and if you just have a positive mentality, everything is easy in life to do. So if you just have a positive mindset towards absolutely everything you do in life, everything is so much easier, because if you have a negative mindset on something, it's just going to make you not want to do it.
Yes, the positive mindset, i.e. fucking 7 digits in your bank account.
It's gonna make you hate it.
You heard it here first. There ain't no pandering without positivity. It's not about how he takes 90% of the income from the girls that work for him, it's the fact that he does it with a smile. I ended my last video showing this I have a dream speech he decided to do in the backyard of his mansion, going over how hard his life was and telling his audience they're the only real ones he feels like he has left, because of the horrible treatment life has gave to him, and really thinks they're the last people he can truly talk to, which I find almost adorable, because majority of his audience can't even fucking talk yet. They're all wearing pacifiers and Pampers, so he's basically saying the only people he can relate to are toddlers. Quite sad, really, especially when you try to get that same audience to look at your dick flicks. The last thing I announced in my previous vid was foreshadowing Jack only getting worse and more degenerate by the day. I turned out to be absolutely right. Starting more fights he scurries away from, creating god-awful skits for more publicity, and lastly facing entirely new allegations of him hosting parties with underage girls the day before they turn 18, getting them shithouse drunk, then making them sign a contract to work for his pimp ring. Now, I think it is important to take this.
How is... That's still not legal age to drink. So how is he getting them shithoused?
Shithouse drunk, then making them sign a contract to work for his pimp ring. Now, I think it is important to take this with not only a grain of salt, I would grab a couple fucking pounds of it, because the one breaking these allegations is the kick streamer Neon. Somebody that has a pretty colorful reputation of his own. The most notable trait about him would be lying. The first thing he blew up from was lying about his own death, which he's done twice now, so I wouldn't trust a word that comes out of this brittle Indian chicken Little's mouth, because it's never going to be believable. However, with Neon being somebody that has worked with Jack in person in the past, seeing his operation inside and out, a part of me really wants to side with him here and give him the slight benefit of the doubt.
Hey, Jack!
you, bro. I was actually speaking highly of you for the first time. You want to come here and talk? It's all good, bro. It's all good. It's all good. I just don't give a anymore, man. I just don't care, bro. You get 17-year-old girls the night before their birthday. You buy a $10,000 yacht every time. You get them drunk and they sign a contract 50% of their life every single time.
Listen,
do they have proof of this? Neon just has such a punchable face. Dude, I have a whole fucking tirade to go off on Neon, but like right now we're talking about fucking Jacqueline Doty. But fucking, is there any proof, any like fucking like footage of this yacht and these 17 to 18-year-olds signing contracts? Because if there is, like, there's a very large legal precedent that could be pushed that he's quite literally he is quite literally being a pimp.
Ladies, if Jack asked you to party, you gotta tell him no. Now, this is some Diddy shit if this turns out to be the truth, and I really do have some reason to believe it, because we've seen with our own eyes how Jack interacts with drunk girls already on camera, foaming out the mouth and going feral over hammered women asking him to stop filming them.
Is you fair to feed her some water? Because why are you taking contact with my friend? Stop.
Look, hey yo, watch. This is what they're saying about you.
Oh my god, that's so cute. Stop. Get the fuck out. Stop.
Look, watch.
I don't care what they're saying. Why are you live streaming this? You're an asshole. Go away.
Am I?
Yes, you are.
You want water?
How are you? Are you 19? Go away.
I'm 20.
You're so
I'm giving her my.
He's not even 21. How is he getting this alcohol?
My water.
Why are you taking video? Why are you taking
You're right. I'm only doing it for the video.
I just want to
look good now after that. No, I'm kidding. Fuck you. You know, fucking first thing she said to me was, I'm 12. You're hey, wow. Oh no, Bert, no.
Yeah, I really don't know what that ending moan was there. Maybe his defense mechanism is just an orgasm, because that sounded like he shot a couple ropes into his trousers. Really creepy encounter from start to finish, though. I mean, the one girl looked like she was going through a demonic possession, swaying around like the inflatable friends you see outside of a Kia dealership. For that not to be an instant indicator to walk in the opposite direction, especially when your response to them telling you to go away was you just taking another step closer. I mean, if he's going to harass vulnerable women on camera, then what Neon said would be
bootleggers or someone he knows. But it's just kind of weird, dude. Like, yeah. It's okay. It's not. It's like a misdemeanor to supply a alcohol to a minor, right? But like if he's fucking getting enough alcohol to shit face like hundreds of girls on a yacht, like at some point you gotta start asking the questions of who's making all this money.
Believable to what sort of sick things he does off it. The accusations ended up getting so bad that Jack would take himself to Twitter to put out his own response, trying to debunk everything that's been said about him.
Alright, so this is the last thing I want to address, because I think it's the last thing I have to address, but basically there's this rumor saying that I sign minor fans, get them drunk on yachts, make them sign contracts, whatever. That is the most untrue, false allegation I've ever heard, and I've
That wasn't the accusation. The accusation was you get them drunk on their 17th birthday, and the moment it turns over and they become an adult, you then sign them.
never felt like I had to respond to it because it's just so dumb. But one person came up with that rumor, and the whole internet ran with it.
Your hair looks like you told your barber to do a dollop with Daisy. I don't know where you got your inspiration from, because to me it looks like a pube bush you would find in a 70s X film. Anyways, the person that rumored this out to the public is this girl that goes by the name of Natalie Reynolds, who used to be one of the hoes on Jack's roster. I want to freshly remind you guys.
Isn't that the girl who fucking almost drowned a lady in the Colorado River?
Used to be one of the
Is this not the girl who almost drowned somebody in the Colorado River?
Hoes on Jack's roster. I want to freshly remind you guys there are no heroes in this story, because shortly after she tried painting herself as a victim for being exploited, she would jumpstart her solo career by exploiting herself, covering her naked body in paint, and showing up to a gym to interact with men and equipment there, giving them the option of either catching a case or chlamydia. I'll give you time to turn and talk to your partner. I mean, she was dragging her beef blankets across the seats, leaving a sweaty snail trail for whoever wants to use the equipment next. Really unhinged turn to take after trying to become a sole survivor of the sex
Big Mac
industry,
flaps
just to launch your
just
career
out
off
there.
by being fully nude in public. Just more proof out there for my brothers watching. If you teach that hoe mentality, then these hoes will see it as reality. Oh, and if that wasn't weird enough, her next step towards stardom
if you
would be
teach those
conducting
girls home mentality, that's the reality.
social experiment where she pretends to kidnap children, which went as well as you would expect to, because not even 30 minutes into starting it, she was damn near being dragged out of the car by police. So figuring out who is worse in all this is like looking at that Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing at each other. Jack would be quick to say all this was a honky hunk of bullshit, labeling Natalie as a hungry clout chaser, trying to bring down his reputation for her own benefit. You know, the same shit he says basically every single time.
I'm younger than basically every girl I have signed except for like one. And that girl signed 4 months after her 18th birthday. So I have proof to back everything up if I need to, but it's just so dumb that people really like believe that type of shit and they want to believe it because they hate me and they just can't accept the fact that I'm doing well in life.
You harass and try to get attention from strangers to fill some void within you from the lack of attention your parents gave you. Have 0 friends that actually care about you rather than your pockets, and a bunch of women that are only around you so they can take Instagram pictures on your yacht. If that's what I consider to be doing well in life, where everything, even love and friends, comes with a price tag, I would make sure to go out like Harry Morgan. So enough with the yap session. Jack is calling all of this a hoop full of proof, claiming all of these allegations to be a slander to his name, and the only goal Natalie has in all this is to destroy his reputation. A former employee of Jack would come out to support Natalie's story and try to expose other nasty things he's seen Jack done for the time that he was with him. Jack would make another response towards him.
I think this kid right here, Jacqueline Doty, is huffing some fucking pure copium if he thinks that those girls are in there for anything other than to fucking suck the clout from his dick.
Calling him some evil mastermind that's been planning on taking down his career now for well over a year. Labeling him as a snake that's been hungry for clout, which is same shit again. But there was one thing he said that sure striked my eye and made me do a double take, which was him admitting his employee kissed his own girlfriend while he watched.
He worked for me for 5 months.
Go back. Did he just admit that he cucks himself?
One thing he said that sure struck my eye and made me do a double take, which was him admitting his employee kissed his own girlfriend while he watched.
I mean, if that's what you like, dude, I guess have fun.
He worked for me for 5 months, and within that 5 months, you don't even want to know all the girls that.
With gay power comes an attraction to minors. That's the mini lad slogan. That's the mini lad Dr. Disrespect slogan. They both fall into that niche. This kid just fucking no, it's actually Dr. Disrespect and mini lad are out here like minor touching jutsu. Minor touching jutsu.
Have like came forward about what he's done to them. I'll get into that in a second. So there's this video that he keeps posting of him kissing my girlfriend in the back of an Uber, and here's the context to it.
I don't really think context is needed, you crimson chin cuck. I mean, aren't you supposed to be against this guy? Why do you bring up him kissing your bitch like it was helping your case out at all? I mean, he said it so nonchalantly, it's almost like he wants to watch it again. Here's the clip that Jack is reminiscing on.
What? Shut the up.
So there's the kiss, if you even want to call it that. It more looked like some foreign etiquette, like two Serbians greeting each other. You can really see the sparks start to fly, and I don't mean that in a loving way. It's just their dry-ass lips rubbing together almost started a fire. So that's what his employee was flexing this entire time. One little-ass pity peck she decided to give him. God, all of these guys are literally just losers. Jack is claiming that the clip I just showed happened on the first day they ever met each other, constantly making it known that he already had another girl with him, saying it about 5 fucking times, almost going into an episode of Psychosis about it.
I flew her down here the day we all met her, and I literally had another girl in my bed when she flew down to my house that day. And then right after we went to a club, and she got all drunk, was just all over McKinley, nonstop touching her, trying to kiss her nonstop, and she was super uncomfortable and didn't know what to do. To do that with every girl and think they all want him, but they don't. So then this is what happened. We were on the Uber on the way home. I was in the second row with another girl. She was like on top of me, I was lying down, we were all drunk.
Congrats on paying one of your employees overtime so they can hang out with you. I'm sure that took her a lot of convincing. But I mean, you heard what he said.
That's what I'm
saying. Was a creep, slobbering on every girl he came across like it was Gollum the cave troll, just being a really weird guy. Pretty ironic, but he wouldn't exactly be lying either, as you'll see shortly. Jack would continue to say he was holding McKinley's hand while his employee was kissing her like it was another got you moment from him, except it just makes him look even more like a whimpering simp.
And I had my arm up like that, and McKinley was holding my hand in the video of him kissing her.
Nah, man.
And you can see
Sneeko moments.
She's like, please help me. He won't stop like touching me and trying to kiss me. I'm very uncomfortable. Like, please just help me. But just don't tell him I said this to you, blah, blah.
He just admitted that she was uncomfortable. She didn't want that to happen. she was uncomfortable with the whole situation of him being there, and she's quite literally getting your attention, and you thought you got this.
Blah. So then me and my friend Logan had to go confront him about it, and he exploded, had a mental breakdown.
I mean, I'll tell you guys right now, the LA scene or the influencer scene in general just seems to be an absolute nightmare.
Shout out to the Tan Superman for the clips in this video, but honestly, I couldn't agree with him more right there. Who in their right mind would ever want to be a part of this? You would catch my ass at Bohemian Grove before I ever stepped foot into an influencer house. So Jack is going on to label this employee as some sadistic creep that was holding McKinley hostage and that he was continuously groping her throughout the night, not leaving her alone. Where Jack thankfully saved her. Yeah, it really sounds like a story he would make up to paint himself as some white knight hero that will hold girls' hands while other guys kiss her.
We had to break down the door because she
just hold my hand while you get groped. It'll be fine. Take these drugs. You'll be okay.
was screaming and crying in the room, and you wouldn't let her out of the room because you're a sick.
So yeah, he's really trying to put this employee down once and for all, claiming to have all the evidence to prove the claims against him to be false. And that would lead to the employee himself creating his own response, saying the other girl Jack claims to be with all night was just some figment of his imagination. He just made it all up to not make himself look like a punching bag in this scenario. Then more importantly responds to Jack saying he was being some sort of semen demon fondling every woman he came across, claiming Jack never held nothing but his own nutsack during their entire encounter together, not trying to stop Matt the employee and McKinley once.
Uber, and that's where you see the video of me kissing McKinley. And Jack wasn't even with the girl that entire day. He didn't have another girl, so I don't know what he's talking about that he had another girl. He's capping about it entirely. And he wasn't holding her hand in the car at all because he was in the passenger seat.
So Jack made himself look like more of a beta for pretty much zero reason. Now don't cheer on this guy just yet because he doesn't exactly make himself look any better, because he said something that I don't even think crackheads have ever muttered to each other. So I'll let that play out now.
When I was back in my room, I was asking McKinley, like, what's good with her? Like, do you want to get with Jack? Because if so, we share underwear, we can share girls. What the fuck's name?
It's time we start looking over our shoulders to check who's
What? What the fuck, dude? What kind of... Dude, brain rot has gone too far. Dude, brain rot has gone too far. They're fucking... Dude, they're shooting ropes in the same undies, dog. That means they're shooting ropes in the same girls.
Really our boys here. This whole time I've been doing it all wrong. This is what true brotherhood looks like. Cut from a different sack but share their sack in the same cloth. It doesn't come any closer than trading each other's sweaty ball hairs like their Pokemon cards. What kind of business relationship did you share with your employer? I ain't never heard of no boss busting out the office and start throwing his stained drawers around to his employees like it's a bouquet toss at a fucking wedding.
Exactly.
That sentence really wasn't any better. We share underwear, we share girls. Yeah, it seems like you're going to be sharing a long list of STDs too.
So I kind of got...
Dude, if this kid isn't rocking chlamydia and the fucking... I don't know, dude. I'm not saying that those girls don't have it. I'm saying that it seems like he's been hitting it and quitting it.
The gist that she wanted to move on to Jack. So that's why I literally asked her, like, I can give you up to Jack if you really want that.
This is one of the rare occurrences where I wish this man would have just remained silent instead of start new drama, because it's like watching trash fight garbage. There's really no winners or sides to choose because they all lead to everyone being a terrible human being. Matt would come out with text messages between him and McKinley to show they had some sort of relationship, and to really flick the nipple off a cripple, I believe furries could flirt better than these two could, because reading these messages triggered my gag reflex multiple times, so fair warning, cringe will be shown. So how do I get you out of my head? I need to sleep. I don't want to leave your mind. I really have a hard time believing that you're struggling to get out of his head, because I can absolutely assure you no woman is going to be attracted to a grown-ass man posting content like this.
Started placing it with his favorite strawberry banana drink to see if he can tell the difference. So while I was waiting for my drink, I was literally hitting the gritty. Then he...
Life without parole, and make sure to throw away the key, because this man never deserves to see sunlight again. I'm all down for acting a fool once in a while, but that actually made me physically regurgitate. Hopefully I see you this weekend. Yes, I hope so too. Just gotta get my bread up. You can easily steal the bread with us, trust. Actually, you don't have an option. I might have to go over there and steal you. I gotta get a few things before I get there, but just for research purposes, what's your ring size? Like, you guys haven't even met in person yet, and you're already talking about getting happily wedded just to get her stolen by this this dude that's built like a mailbox. This is like watching a car crash. It's just
Dude,
so
he
awful
is
that I can't
built
stop
like a
looking away from it.
mailbox.
If you keep liking my stories, I might have to kiss you. I mean, what can you even say to that, really? The last thing Matt would share is screenshots of text between him and Jack, speaking about McKinley before Jack even met her yet, discussing about paying her $3K and tricking her into signing a contract with them. I'm gonna make McKinley sign a waiver/NDA, but actually it's a contract. $3K and a t-shirt. Oh, how sweet. I mean, they're talking about her body like it's some sort of art auction, and for some unholy reason, this guy was delusional enough to show his own text messages that made himself look even worse than Jack, saying, haha, a word that rhymes with tape, and then trying to up the price on her because she's hot. It's like I'm in a 4chan comment section. Really don't know how admitting you're a predator towards women is supposed to do you any favors. So that's pretty much where this little saga ends. If those texts aren't altered or fake, then I feel like especially having McKinley unknowingly sign a contract, it would probably push some legal line for sure. Because obviously you can't just get someone to sign up to something if they are under the impression that it's something else. That slot is reserved for music labels. However, if you thought Jack would lower down with disrespecting other people, you would be sadly mistaken, because he would decide to shrink his balls and start even more brawls that he runs away from. But recently the day finally came where Jack would stand his ground and throw his first ever punch, except he horribly missed and ended up punching his own friend in the face. Some guy Jack was disrespecting decided to go press him in real life to solve the problem they had.
Let's go.
You're dumb as fuck.
What?
You do that for a clip?
Let's go. You had hella trash to talk on stream. Now let's go. You talk trash on stream last night. Let's go. I don't care. And you think it's funny? You won't say it to my face, but you'll say it on the VOD, huh?
Because I don't want to give you a clip like you're trying to do.
Didn't this kid get banned from Kick? Jack Doty Kick ban. Oh yeah, he. What? Alright, wait 1 second. Jack Doherty banned from Kick after live streaming car crash, distracted driving. Doherty can be seen using his phone before losing control of his McLaren. Content creators. They say, I don't really care about who he is. Distracted, checked his phone before the crash. Yeah, that's all I can think of. He hydroplaned it.
Fuck, open the door, open your door. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit.
Dude, that guy was fucked up. Did you see his face?
Fuck, open the door, open your door. Holy shit.
Look at this guy.
Holy fucking shit. Michael. Are you okay? Holy fuck. Oh my god, bro. My whole... Bro, my whole fucking car, bro.
You're lucky you're not dead.
Oh my god. There's no fucking... Michael, here. You have film on that phone too. Oh. Oh my god.
I don't know what he's upset about. He walked away from literally one of the worst looking wrecks in the world, and nobody died. Dude, this stream is not important. You literally... Dude, fucking... This kid is gonna get somebody killed. He's... Dude, this kid is gonna fucking die in a horrible way. Like, and I don't mean that like as in a joke. Like, I mean like he's gonna like get hooked on like some hardcore drugs because one of his friends said it was a good idea, and then he's gonna fucking fuck up like this again. And there's no like, oh, he's just a kid, because he's like 20, isn't he?
Right now. What do you mean? Nah, if you're a man, stand on business.
You can start to see the plop of piss starting to form on the floor, which explains the crotch covering and the overly feminine leg stance. You can even see little razor bumps from Jack shaving them the night before. Looks pretty rough for him once he doesn't have any of his goons to back him up, and honestly, this time I can't blame him. It doesn't necessarily
This
look like
kid
a
is
fair fight in the
ridiculous.
slightest.
Kick, thank you for banning Jack Doherty. You probably did this kid a solid. He needs to grow up.
Let's go. I literally will box you right now.
Dude, look at his little goons. Look at his little goons. It's like a little Mario fight. Wait, watch. He throws it and then watch his little goons. Watch his little goons. They're like little Goombas, dude.
I literally will box you right now.
Look at them. They fucking go in unison. Dude, it's like a Mario fight. It's like scripted. And then he hits his friend, dude.
Looks at the camera like it's a Looney Tunes moment, like when the coyote is about to fall off the cliff, knowing his dumbass just knocked his own teammate out. I mean, everybody in this video I showed has Wendy Freezer IQ levels, because throwing something where 50 women are standing is some dumbassery if I ever seen it. If this wasn't Jack, I would be pretty against somebody that's trying to fight half his size, but it is, so I really don't care. That's really all there is to talk about. I could show more skits he's done pretending to be poor and flying on commercial airlines, but let's be real, I want views, so I'm probably going to do a part 4 since you guys, along with the new viewers, seem to love it. That's going to be wrapping up everything there. If you guys
This kid is a fucking Looney Tune, dude. He's gonna fucking die. He's gonna die a horrible, horrible death. And it's just, it's not, it's, nah. Let's go look at his girlfriend and this fucking
Recently,
Spock
there's
looking
been a trend
ass.
that's just been going absolutely viral on TikTok, with some creators getting tens of millions of views per video, and this is the fart spray prank. And naturally,
Alright, I'm already bored.
Would you rather have this girl or this Urus?
I'm taking that Urus.
Urus? Alright. Would you rather have this girl or this McLaren? McLaren? Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Alright, would you rather have this girl or this blue Lambo?
I don't know how to explain it, but this woman is built like a pair of Milwaukee Flyers. Also, what is content now on YouTube? Who actually sits here and is roaring with hearty laughter and sees this a side-splitting comedy? Anybody laughing at this should also
She's
be
built like
during the
Milwaukee
mugshot
Flyers,
videos,
dog.
because I'm failing to understand why Ratchet and Skank are out here playing Smash or Pass with the middle schooler. It's the most common argument of all, but really, imagine if there was half-naked men having their nuts flopping out of their shorts steaming on the car's front hood, asking a young girl if they want to sleep with them. What is the difference? Boy is no older than 12, and he's being politely asked if he would rather be groomed or illegally drive. Either way, both answers are going to result in these hoes going
Groomed
to jail.
or
It's
illegally
incredible
drive.
These women are just openly broadcasting this episode of Goonie Tunes for the entire world to see. Alright, welcome back, ladies and ladies with dicks. You don't even have to be a veteran on my channel to know basically the Weapon X of autism being Jack Doherty. He's somebody that I covered quite extensively over the past year for being out the ass obnoxious with his pranks or stunts. He just has a complete lack of empathy or overall IQ for that matter. I'm convinced if you handed him an IQ test, he would just say he loves Jell-O and start eating the paper. His initial claim to fame that put him on the map was appearing on Dr. Phil for his online antics, and he pissed Dr. Phil off so hard I thought he was about to start growing hair. It was destined from that point on for Jack to be the most insufferable shitbag this generation has ever seen, and he's doing a damn good job of it. Some other highlights that made Jack infamous is himself harassing innocent people in public, then hiding behind his security team whenever he pisses someone off. And I think the cherry on top to it is he continues to talk wild while he hugs the back of his guard like a coked out koala bear.
Not so fast, though, bro. Not so fast.
That's the thing I'm talking about. This is the thing I'm talking about, dude. This fucking horse shit. This.
Not so fast, though, bro. Not so fast, though, bro. What are you gonna do?
Dude, one of these days he's gonna fucking do it to the wrong person, and that person's gonna have a gun, and it doesn't matter how big that bodyguard is, it's gonna go through the bodyguard and it's gonna hit him. I'm just saying. He keeps pushing it, and the envelope is eventually gonna bust.
Am I the only one who thinks this dude is built like Rayman Legends? It's incredible though.
Pretty
Jack
much.
almost makes his team do basketball plays to not get hit. I mean, look at that shit. It's like I'm watching Bob Sapp trying to set a screen. This is brand new footage, by the way, not old. So for anybody latching on to the sliver of hope that this 20-year-old fetus would finally develop his brain, you would be sadly mistaken. He's still out there verbally queefing at people on the streets. He also is now known to practically run an OnlyFans pimp ring where he manages dozens of girls' pages, including his own, which by the grace of God I will never encounter. Seeing Jack jack off his little beanstalk is something I wouldn't even wish on my worst enemy. But what's even worse than him flicking around his little baby bottle pop of a wiener is the amount he pays these girls. Apparently, from different accounts, he allegedly takes 90% of their income in exchange for them to soullessly stand there around in his mansion and promote his content. But one special girl rose through the ranks. She was spreading her beef pie in the sky more than anyone else. All the other girls on the OF roster weren't dumping their heart in the art, but this girl was, sucking and fucking like there was no tomorrow.
She had meat curtains that Arby's couldn't even compete with.
So true love was born. Jack decided to date this girl and exploit her for content, and she would happily do the same to promote her OnlyFans. It was a match made in heaven, a true story of cousins by chance but lovers by choice, and that girl goes by the name of
Cousins by chance, lovers by choice. Hold up, they're related? They're related? You're telling me the girl spreading her beef curtains more than Arby's at a fucking slider convention? It's related to the motherfucker she's boning.
Kinley Richardson. Bitch name sounds like a founding father. Now, I never really spoke on her besides her special tape getting so-called leaked. Again, I would rather stare at the Bird Box demon than to ever see that. But if you recall from the goofy gooners out there that did go out of their way to watch it, they described it like a block of tofu trying to have sex with a slice of rye toast. Just the most bland, unpassionate pork jork session our eyes could ever lay upon. Even the star player for the—
It was just 45 minutes of crying.
Milwaukee cuck Sneeko would have walked out the room in disappointment if he had a shot to be in there watching, because that's how boring it was. I think using the term girlfriend towards McKinley should be used very loosely, because not only does she sell cheeks for the internet, but also posts horrible skits of herself getting hit on by middle-aged men while Jack looks around on his phone trying not to hold back tears.
Guys, Zerka's been at our house for a few days, and all he's doing is disrespecting Jack and I's relationship. I don't know what to do about it. Look at these clips.
Where's your lady? Our lady. McKinley, what do you moan like? What's it sound like? What do you sound like when you're faking? What do you mean? What do you mean? Why do you look so shady right now?
He's getting pressed by What do you mean he's acting like that?
Yo, chill. You can't touch her. Call the cops.
Isn't Circa the fucking guy who defended the guy who was like having sex with a 12-year-old? Isn't that guy? Isn't he the guy that defended like the guy who was having sex with a 12-year-old, and then he dressed like fucking Joker, and then he got like attacked by a cop, and then he wasn't allowed back in New York?
I slap her when I fuck her. That's how we get down.
I feel
Look
it, bro.
at that. He's smiling while his girlfriend is getting actively touched by another man. Personally, if this happened to me, I'm busting out the slingshot and remaking a biblically accurate David and Goliath. This is just atrocious to even look at from all the way back at home. Then at the end, he says no in the most feminine way possible as he protects himself away from the man that just violated his girl.
That's how we get down.
This really the LA dream life you kids want to have growing up? For your girl's tits to get fondled for YouTube skits as you sit back and smile? Millions of children look up to these people, and I just don't understand it. I don't see myself at 20 achieving super sage unk status, but when I was younger, we had really wholesome, genuine people to look up to. You know, the goats, Markiplier, PewDiePie, Jack, Joji, or the pink guy. He wasn't really wholesome, but he was genuine. This is all just soulless slop that literally has worse acting than Brazzers. And if it isn't a skit, then all them millions of dollars, fancy mansions, fast cars, women you surround yourself with, all to still look like a fucking dork. So that 30-year-old man that was touching teenagers as Zerka, he has an entire rabbit hole of his own, but he literally talks to every woman like he's Patrick Bateman having a meltdown. It's disgusting that everybody just laughs it off, because from the shorts or clips I have seen from him, he's always struck me as being a perverted freak. But honestly, everybody in that circle is one, so it's not that much of a surprise.
Oh, what's up? What are you up to? I'd love to eat your food. You look 40 and 14 at the same time. Let me have a bit. I'm 13. honestly, just don't tell the cops.
Kick
What
is genuinely
the
making all
fuck?
the wrong people famous. They just let every degenerate that should be locked away in the dungeon, isolated from society, get their foot in the door to the world of streaming. Anyways, you guys remember in my past videos I showed with proof how Jack would intentionally make videos for children, then promote his OnlyFans in every single one of his pinned comments? Well, it turns out McKinley would do the exact same, except do it way more openly and truthfully much worse. You also remember how Jack would have his little giveaways and PG minigames, but as you can tell from the footage I just showed earlier, the dialogue in McKinley's videos is not exactly kid-friendly. So surely her audience wouldn't be full of kids too, right? Well, let's see some interactions with their fans and see if they are full-grown adults like they should be, considering she's begging them to go see her bare ass cheeks on OnlyFans.
Excuse me, are you following me? Yeah. Are you actually? Yeah. Oh my gosh, guys, he's actually subscribed. Told anyone, and I'll buy you whatever you want.
One time, I snuck to the store.
Are you following me?
Yes.
Okay, kids, let's go.
Is she grooming a harem of children? What the fuck am I watching? Who the hell is this bitch?
Not one of her so-called subscribers looked a day past 7 or even had all their motor skills developed. And this can be further backed up by diving into any of her comment sections and trying to find one that doesn't look like a party chat in Among Us fills. Just all broken English and straight gibberish. My friends say I look like Justin Bieber when he was younger. Talking about young.
Do you watch me sling my beef curtains? I haven't ever watched you sling your beef curtains, but you know, if you give me some Arby's sauce, I'll go beast mode on them. I kinda wanna make a Minecraft server, because I wanna fucking play Minecraft. I like Minecraft. I love Minecraft. Dude, takes them to the bathroom for sloppy toppy. Dude, fucking, I wouldn't doubt it. Like, honestly, there has to, what she's doing, it has to be illegal, right? There's no way this is all legal. There's no fucking way. Oh, I gotta do all this to install mods onto the server? Fuck that. I'm not gonna get off of work. I don't wanna do that.
Man, you just got that haircut last week. Turn your phone off and go to bed. You got school in the morning. I'm honestly hoping this dude is a youngin', because if not, there's no way this guy has under 500,000 Reddit karma. Here we have somebody spamming I love your videos while spamming hundreds of hearts. Either an adolescent or a 40-year-old Habibi from India typing this out. In the video this chat is from, apparently the kid in the vid got to meet Jack Doherty, and this guy is going absolutely feral over it, foaming out the mouth with rage that he couldn't talk to his hero. Please Bob for us, as a fan. I feel like I just got sent to rock bottom from SpongeBob trying to understand these people. It's like trying to decode some ancient language everybody here speaks. Their vocabulary only extends to Coco Melon brain rot. She also has actual videos of herself openly talking about her OnlyFans, one of them being a skit where she tells Jack's parents about it, and the mom already looks like she wants to disown her, even though she ain't even her daughter.
Alright, Mom, how do you feel about my girlfriend having an OnlyFans?
I don't know how to feel about it, but my husband asked me, is that pink?
Hey, yo!
Pink? Pink? What is that?
Oh, bruh.
Oh my goodness.
I guess you'll have to go subscribe to find out.
Oh, what is that?
This is a real family. Like, these people sit down at the Sunday dinner and discuss if their tuna town is either pink or brown. Like, am I—
There's no fucking, I had to have misheard that.
being a skit where she tells Jack's parents about it, and the mom already looks like she wants to disown her, even though she ain't even her daughter.
Alright, Mom, how do you feel about my girlfriend having an OnlyFans?
I don't know how to feel about it, but my husband asked me, is that pink?
Hey, yo!
Pink? Pink? What is that?
Oh, bruh.
Oh my goodness.
I guess you'll have to go subscribe to find out.
Oh, what is that?
This is a real family. Like, these people sit down at the Sunday dinner and discuss if their tuna town is either pink or
Dude,
brown.
Monka, dude. Monka!
My mother is having her own son beg her to look at her future daughter-in-law's vagina. And we're just supposed to casually scroll to the next short like this is normal? I mean, we're just doomed. We always wondered for centuries if there's life beyond our own world, if aliens exist. But why the hell would aliens visit us in the first place when whack-ass shit like this is being pushed to the front pages of media? If they do exist, they probably look at us how we look at animals in a fucking zoo. That clip alone is like the tip of the iceberg when it comes to her openly promoting her OnlyFans to her obvious child audience. So let's take a look at another horribly acted donkey shit of a skit where she acts like OnlyFans is harder than a real job.
I make spicy content for a living. So today, I'm gonna prove that a real job is way easier than what I do. So I walked in for my first day, and the manager asked me this.
Hey, McKinley, I'm gonna need you to wash the dishes.
So I went off on him, and this happened. Do you see me?
Why is your shirt cropped?
It's cuter this way.
Maybe if you weren't built like a walking coat rack, it would look cuter. But it has the wacky sound effects, wild flashy edits, pointless subtitles taking
You
up
weren't
half the
built like
screen
a
when she isn't
walking
speaking
coat
fluent
rack,
English.
it would
Just
look
the whole
better.
I have zero talent but still want to be famous starter pack, all displayed in one video.
30 minutes later, while I was taking OF pics in the bathroom, this happened.
McKinley, someone told me you're selling skins on Facebook? Oh,
I'm sorry.
I was gonna make a joke, but this was so unfunny that it almost feels inappropriate to do so. Like I'm at a funeral service and it's just the wrong time. That man just killed my happiness and I'm watching it get put in the ground with how bad that joke was. Side note, is she taking booty flicks in that dirty ass bathroom? There's mold on the damn walls. You don't look cute, you just look like a crackhead from a Section 8.
you can't be doing that on the job. God.
A few minutes later, a customer came in, and that's when this happened.
Oh my goodness, this customer's gonna love these pictures. There you go, enjoy that.
What did you give him?
Just some...
How the hell did she put her OF pics on the icing? She's putting her cake on the damn icing. I never thought I'd see the day where you get nudes on a cupcake. That sounds like EDP's fantasy. But I guess we really do know less today than we do tomorrow because I never expected to see this. Now again, let's imagine if a man did this. Really, imagine you're bringing a box of donuts home to your family only to see there's a dick print on the whole dozen. Or had a picture of his hairy balls on a birthday cake. You would be absolutely disgusted. The same rules or ideas should apply to her. Why
I
the
stagger my donuts on my rod. Watch her eat it like a kebab.
hell would any healthy-minded person want your ass and boobs plastered across their pastry? It's just gross and completely uncalled for. Don't nobody wants to see that when they're just trying to get some food in the damn morning. We call genitals private parts for a reason. Stop trying to make them so damn public.
Thanks, guys.
You're gonna get so many customers now. It's free marketing.
I don't think this is gonna work out.
Really? Well, subscribe to my OnlyFans because I just lost my job.
Just an inspiring message to the youth. When you're asked to do something, go
Yep.
back home and get naked instead. We've
Yep.
seen her audience, and obviously that's the age where you're the most impressionable. So she's teaching these kids to grow up to do OnlyFans over putting hard work and dedication into
Damn
an actual
right.
job. And that's the ideology the poor youth is left with, just to throw shame and their dignity out the window and sell themselves instead. It's sad that
Damn
the
right.
Semen Demon is someone they look up to. If you couldn't possibly think it would get worse, I think the most cringe-worthy factor out of all of this is the relationship Jack and McKinley publicly have. Besides using each other for content, Jack has taken McKinley to the hospital before flipping a golf cart on her.
Oh, fuck. Yo, oh, McKinley, you okay? No!
Look at that little Looney Tunes ass look he gives to the camera when he flips it. It's like watching the cartoon character looking back for a second before they're falling off a cliff. And like I said, this wasn't something to walk
this
off.
kid's gonna get
McKinley
somebody
actually
killed.
had to go to the hospital over Jack's stupidity. But thankfully, we get to see it because Jack decided to record all of it for, you guessed it, more content.
Tell them what happened. Why are we in the hospital? What did I do to you?
I flipped the golf cart on me.
Yes, now we're here.
This one.
The fact that he posted the clip of himself flipping the cart and the little post-game interview of his girlfriend getting hurt after should speak volumes on how real this relationship is. Imagine instead of immediately turning off the stream and helping you, they make sure to bring the camera and light crew closer so they can have a good shot of you in pain for the thumbnail. I don't know how people consider LA to be the dream life when this is just a fraction of the weird shit that rich people do over there. It's honestly sad to see a couple trying to make their relationship look real when it's so obviously fake. And if you really needed any more convincing, there's proof of McKinley cheating on Jack with a guy who she knew for only 3 days, being Jack's ex-cameraman. He didn't get a dinner date, introduction, just straight into mashing pissers on the damn first night.
From LA. And then she comes to my room, she gets in the bed with me under the covers, we're just like on the laptop, whatever. Very shortly, laptop closes, we're making out, I'm doing some things with her, whatever, you know. And then Jack walks in, he's like, yo, are we gonna go get some and then walks back out. I look at McKinley, I'm like, I just literally shrug my shoulders, I'm like, and then we just go back to making out, whatever. And so from Rock Bar, we were on our way back to the house, and in the Uber, I'm like talking Spanish to the Uber driver because like whatever. Like I was speaking to him, and she was like, "Oh my god, that's so hot," and then she just started making out.
So yeah, McKinley is a
Oh my
penguin,
god, that's
princess,
so
lot
hot.
lizard, whatever term you want to use, but loyal is definitely
I
not
go
one
lot
of them.
lizard.
I honestly kind of want to feel bad, but then I remember it's Jack Doherty, and hearing him getting cheated on is really music to my ears. I'll say it. That's how much I genuinely dislike this guy. Jack really was envisioning a whole life with this specimen of a woman. From watching the fireworks from Italy on their honeymoon, dancing around in the rain while they giggle and go whitewater rafting just for her to suck the white water out of the cameraman's shaft the moment she gets home. I mean, it's like I'm watching a live-action Sims game. None of what we looked at even feels real. Every emotion, smile, and laugh is all fabricated for the camera, and I couldn't possibly picture that so many people want to live the life these freaks live. I'm honestly kind of glad I grew up somewhat poor, because I feel like it really humbled me into knowing what you should really value in the world, being family, friends, spouse, somehow if your ugly ass has one. You know, meaningful relationships and connections that aren't plastered all over the internet and used for content. Remember,
True.
kids, if you ever buy a woman's OnlyFans, you're only going to get treated like a fan. First off, the hub is free. You really shouldn't go on there in the first place, but never start throwing out doubloons just to goon. Come on, man, you're better than this. You are literally paying a random
No
woman
doubloons
more
to
than a monthly
goon.
Hulu subscription to see something you could easily find for free with one search. I just don't understand people no more. I used to find grumpy grandpas that always complain about younger generations really annoying, but honestly, the more I grow up, the more I start to really reconcile with the senile and realize they got some good ass reasons to be mad at us. But I think we're gonna wrap the video up here. I really don't have too much else to say besides YouTube needing to fix this quite obvious issue with all these damn near dozens of creators literally promoting their nude photos to minors. It's extremely creepy when you zoom up close and really start to see their intentions when it comes to their marketing. They know exactly what they're doing and who they're targeting, and that's what I find just straight up gross. If you guys enjoyed this video though, make sure to slap a like on this. Disclaimer. Everything mentioned in this video are strictly allegations and haven't been
Don't
100%
throw
proven or
doubloons
settled
to
in any court of
goon.
law to prove whether he's guilty or not. So for legal reasons, despite how convincing the evidence may seem, I will be referring to all of this as alleged.
The situation with
Alleged.
Gabby Hanna at a playlist live where she pulled him aside and told him like, yo, she's 17, and then we still went and hooked up. I hooked up with Cody Ko when I was 17 and he was 25.
Dude! Dad?
Son, I'm very disappointed.
Alright, welcome back, ladies and ladies with dicks. I'm sure many of
Ladies
you
and
are
ladies with
major
dicks.
problems, but it seems like YouTubers keep having the minor ones. And I mean that quite literally. We can't go 1 week without a content creator flopping his limp 1-inch shrimp in front of the face of an unsuspecting child. I don't know if Jared Fogle dives through the windows during the late hours and bites YouTubers until they're infected, or if it's somehow all on their own accord to basically try to speedrun the end of their own careers. Unfortunately,
I think it's the
YouTuber
second.
that we're speaking about today was a very well-respected one. Somebody that I can confidently say was a poster child for the platform, being the famous YouTuber Cody Ko. I won't pretend like I was any type of fan of his because I never even watched a second of his content, but I easily recognize him to be quite a popular and likable figure on the platform for a long time, and honestly, I mean this when I say it, this guy really had it all. He was like Larry from Gumball, working every job imaginable, managing to graduate college with a degree in computer science while traveling across Asia, long before he grew a successful channel with 6 million subs, and became a DJ, all to throw it away because he couldn't resist refining a minor. If you still are sitting there drooling with confusion over what the accusations are, Cody Ko apparently hooked up with another popular creator named Tana Mojo when she was only 17 and he was 25.
I need a fucking snack. Everybody go get a snack. Stretch your legs.
my god, did no one look at me, Cody Cole? I can say that. I was literally 17. I can say that.
I hooked up with Cody Cole when I was 17 and he was 25.
We now know Cody has possibly committed a crime, but more importantly, we are now also aware of his incredibly small penis. Jesus, Cody, pick a struggle. Surprisingly, though, most of this information will be swept under the radar for a multitude of reasons. Firstly, many people were very quick to doubt Tana due to her highly questionable reputation she has in comparison to Cody's seemingly spotless one, which is a little understandable. I mean, TanaCon looked like a modern-day internment camp. You'd almost have a better chance of finding water in the middle of the Mojave than at her con. Complete disaster from front to back. I mean, everybody paid $70 to wait outside in the scorching sun for 4 hours to only get a special edition Tana condom that most likely broke within the first stroke. She has scammed her audience before with products that she promotes in the past, so at the very least to be skeptical about the situation I can get behind, but to fully blow these accusations off simply over the fact that you do not like her is what I can't really seem to wrap my head around, because that's exactly what the internet basically rolled with, saying the reason they don't believe Tana is because they simply find her annoying. No matter how much you might personally despise her, you can't treat her claims of being assaulted like a crackhead telling you the earth is flat. Yes, I kid you not, that is an actual comment. They all just brushed it off as pure mental madness that has no possibility of being true. Now, this whole agenda of treating Tana's sex allegations like the Salem witch trials was initially started by die-hard Cody fans that couldn't believe he would do something like this, which brings me to my second reason on why this was all kept under the mainstream. It was his absolute golden holy boy reputation he held high before this situation. He was almost seen as the Ted Lasso of the YouTube world, not having one single bad bone in his body besides one very small one, as we come to find out.
Oh my god, did no one look at me, Cody Cole?
So of course, with his fans seeing him as this sort of hero that's always been in the limelight, they would be very quick to jump on the ship to defend him. Now, this would all be rumors that wouldn't really be cared or talked about by anyone in either Cody's circle or other YouTubers that are in the commentary scene, because they knew how damaging this would be for his career, even though Tana kept sharing the same story for years across multiple different videos and podcasts.
I was 17 at the time, 18. I started kind of hooking up with other people. Shout out JC Kalen, shout out Cody Co.
If I had a 17-year-old daughter or a little sister or something, like, I would kill.
All of this would turn into this almost unspeakable taboo you weren't allowed to bring up, like saying Cody's name was as dangerous as saying Voldemort's. All until last week, where a fellow commentary YouTuber named D'Angelo Wallace would step up to explode this drama out into the spotlight, releasing his huge exposed video going right for the jugular, immediately just bringing up the allegations without even a friendly hello, basically hitting Cody fans with this shit like Agent Mallory did to Ryan in the finale of The Boys.
Hey Cody, let's have an uncomfortable conversation. Someone has been alleging for years now that you, one of the largest commentary creators on YouTube, knowingly committed a crime against her when she was a minor, but YouTubers and viewers alike are ignoring and discrediting these allegations solely because the person making them happens to be an unlikable woman online, Tana Mojo. And you know that people are ignoring this because nobody is working harder to bury this story than you. And you're getting away with it because commentary YouTube has a serious problem.
Yeah, really left no room for interpretation here, made it clearer than a glass ass that there's really no other lens you can look at the situation from. Cody is entirely in the wrong here. Now, many people that probably work for Roblox and Nickelodeon were questioning how exactly this would be technically a crime, since for some reason the age of consent across America varies from state to state, even though Cody himself was 25 during the time of this altercation. Well, D'Angelo was very quick to shut that shit down, highlighting the convention they hooked up at was at Playlist Live, which is located in Orlando, Florida. If we pop up the United Consent of America map, look what's red and shiny that says 18. You guessed it, Florida, making it by law at this point alleged scotchatory tape.
So people started speculating.
Scotchatory tape.
I hooked up with Cody Cole when I was 17 and he was 25.
She claims that not only were you fully aware of her age at the time, but someone even tried to stop you, and you went ahead anyway.
There was a situation with Gabby Hanna at a Playlist Live where she pulled him aside and told him, like, yo, she's 17, and then we still went and hooked up.
To be clear, 17 is under the age of consent in many states, including Florida, where Playlist Live used to take place, so this means that Tana Mojo is accusing you of statutory rape, and she's not trying to hide that.
This isn't
statutory tape.
It was a crime.
You heard that right. A third character is being introduced into this Avatar the Last Sex Offender of a story, being the likes of Gabby Hanna. Again, someone with a troubled past of their own, but would ultimately be the sole witness and supporter to Tana's story. As we've seen, Tana mention Cody was 100% aware she was underage because Gabby already informed Cody that a hookup with their ages was not possible and borderline illegal long before they actually did it. I don't know if he was off the honey packs or the spirit of Epstein possessed him, but apparently Cody just couldn't give one luck of a fuck and saw that as a green light to go.
go.
If Gabby Hanna never did that or had no record of doing it, then Cody's story could be slightly more defensible because hookup horror stories do happen at parties more than you would think, where people assume everyone at the party is over 18 or girls that shouldn't be there say they are 18. Terrible stuff like this happens, and it's not always the guy's fault because there's a good chance he really didn't know the girl's age or at least didn't take the time to two-step verify it. But all that kind of gets thrown out the window because
Well, that's why you
there's
get
really no
two-step
defense you can give if
verification.
he was aware the whole time. D'Angelo would next bring up the power dynamic the two had with each other, of Tana being a massive fan of Cody leading up to their hookup. So that would lead him to create the argument that Cody had a major power leverage over Tana he could have easily exploited, considering Tana looked up to him and saw him as some sort of icon at the time.
Nothing would make this
Alright, this
situation
is gonna be
better,
our
but
last
plenty
video.
of things make it worse.
We gotta
Like
go to
the fact
bed
that
for
she was
work.
a fan of yours at the time, adding an additional layer to the power dynamic you would have had over her.
I grew up loving him, and I think you know what I mean? Like, I was just like excited and a fan.
Tana seems to have many feelings about this, which we'll go over a bit later, but she stated very clearly that the actions she's accusing you of are inexcusable.
If everyone in this situation was an adult, it wouldn't really be a situation at all. Even if she was a fan of Cody or not, the story at the end of the day would be two consenting adults deciding to hook up. Hypothetically, even if Tana was 18, Cody could have used his power to still easily make his advances towards her since she was a crushing fan of his. But it still wouldn't be treated as this career-ending crime like it is now. Personally, I'd still find it a bit weird that someone the age of 25 with a fully developed brain was hunting down fresh 18-year-olds like some sort of quagmire. You know, that would still be something that wouldn't exactly sit right with me, because I really believe there are a ton of exceptions, especially if you're just getting with barely legal girls just for the sport of it. Then yeah, you're a bit suspect. Just because the law says you could doesn't mean you still should. Or if some retired 65-year-old 400-pound jelly belly sugar daddy tried getting with girls that were 20, like, it's still a very weird look to have on yourself regardless. But again, the tangent I just went on doesn't even matter because Cody decided to strike a chord and we know which one it was. Now, in the past, there were
A
YouTube
minor.
collabs between Tana and Cody, presumably after their hookup, that adds this extra
That
layer of
die
weirdness
chord?
to it. Once
Is that
you
what he's
realize
talking
in the
about? A
video,
minor?
Cody acknowledged multiple times that she was a teen and wanted himself to be kept up to date with teen slang since he felt too old.
Teach me some slang. Teach me some teen
Okay,
slang.
well, I was gonna like write it
Alright, so
down.
I'm way too old to be on YouTube, obviously.
Same. I mean, I turned 30 really soon, and it's just kind of like the end of my career. You know,
It's sad. I mean, you need to stop.
yeah. Honestly,
I'm joking.
this is it.
She knows a whole bunch of slang and cool words because she's, a teen, whatever. So I'm here basically just to learn some teen slang, right? So do you want to?
Yeah, I'd love to. No, seriously, I'm just like your biggest fan.
So you feel too old to be taught teen slang words, but not too old to slang your little millimeter defeater in front of them? And if that already wasn't disturbing enough, then let's watch Cody stare down her ass, making sure to track her cheeks with his eyes through every frame like he just came into contact with a demon off a bird box, just entering this 1,000-yard stare every time she stood up.
Alright, so what's up, guys?
Just tracking that ass down like he had a contract on it. So it's definitely
God
creepy
damn.
looking back on these collabs knowing what we do now, because Cody himself described Tana for what she was at the time, just a teen. The next thing D'Angelo would bring up is a fossilized clip that was supposed to be lost to time of Gabby Hanna on a podcast corroborating Tana's story, sharing the exact same events Tana did about Gabby pulling Cody off to the side to tell him the girl he's trying to hook up with is too young for him.
Clip that you might not have even seen yet. See, I read the Rolling Stone article, I watched the YouTube videos about this, and they all missed something. And I understand why. The clip I'm about to show you is extremely hard to find. Remember how Tana said that fellow YouTuber Gabby Hanna tried to stop you before everything allegedly went down? Well, did you know that Gabby is actually on record telling the exact same story several years ago?
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage, watch it. And he's like, oh my god, thank you for telling me. And then he turned that.
Now again, this isn't definitive proof, but I mean, come on, that's not a one-off coincidence. She told Tana's story basically step by step, not skipping one detail. I mean, it's a clip that's from a much different date, came from an unbiased third party, and lastly had zero names attached or even mentioned into it. Yet it all perfectly lines up with the same story Tana told. There's no overlooking that or saying the two don't correlate when these two stories are just straight up an identical match. She turned it from a claim to a full-blown case because now there's a witness that could perfectly retell the story from her own point of view. And I even searched out for the wisdom tree of YouTube drama being Reddit, where the people know more about the YouTuber than they do about themselves, highlighted that apparently Gabby and Tana didn't even like each other, getting into multiple feuds over the years. And Gabby still decided to share this story that backs up Tana anyways, years before anybody would actually bring it to the spotlight. The next thing D'Angelo
That's
is Tana's response to it all, which some people view as good, but I honestly see it as quite sad because Tana would openly say she doesn't really feel traumatized by this encounter that much because it doesn't really compare to the other encounters she's had in the past.
Thankfully, Tana's personal experience with this isn't one of trauma. In fact, I've seen people defending you by saying, Tana said she doesn't care, so why should any of us care? But that's not exactly what she was saying.
I don't associate or hold it with trauma because I am such a comparative person where I'm like, so many worse things have happened to me.
Just because she doesn't see it as a horrifying situation doesn't mean we shouldn't either. I mean, come on, what kind of monkey see, monkey do ass logic is that? I think some of us can think for ourselves and realize what Cody did was scummy, whether Tana is completely scarred by it or not. However, the one thing that Tana got hurt the most by was the internet's reaction to her experience being treated like utter gutter trash that was never taken seriously, all because they simply saw her as a giant joke.
The answer to why any of us should care is that a person has tried to come forward about her experience and has been met with the most vitriolic victim blaming I've seen in years. She's been
They
dismissed,
call her a
discredited,
slag.
and disbelieved before
Jesus.
anybody ever gave her a chance. Because it's Tana, which sets a horrible precedent that if a person runs out of goodwill, they lose the right to come forward with their experiences.
The most traumatizing thing of all of this really was seeing how many people don't believe people or don't believe me. I feel so bad for all of these young girls because then they see that and then it makes them not want to come forward.
I mean, the people that always say she's a hoe that's doing it for clout are the same people with mustard and semen stains on their tank top and haven't felt the touch of a vagina since the day they left one. It's a really good point to factor in because Tana basically gets jumped, beaten, and battered every time she tries to come forward about this. So it's really scary to see how the internet will create and run with their own narrative or completely dismiss her story simply because they find her annoying. Another point she would make is if it was any other YouTuber that wasn't held so high in the public's eye like Cody was, then she would have gotten a lot more support instead of hatred because many people hold him to such a high standard that they find this sort of ordeal impossible for Cody to be in, leaving them a lot of the time to just shrug it off.
I know for a fact if you swapped out Cody Co with someone that people didn't like that much, I would be receiving so much more sympathy.
Now, I'm sure you're all probably wondering what is Cody's response to this shitstorm because something like this is impossible not to respond to. Well, Cody is out there testing the limits of mankind of what we know today because he's managed to not say one damn word about this entire ordeal, continuing the silent treatment he's been doing for literal years now. Like, this isn't some shit that just happened last week. Cody's been actively avoiding and ignoring the situation for years, and since his fans see Cody the same way America sees fucking Homelander, he was able to easily slip his way out of it. D'Angelo would bring up that silence is Cody's only last string of hope to not end his career because if he were to speak up about it, it wouldn't matter what side he decided to play on. Because if he admits it, it's obvious suicide for his career because he would openly admit to committing a felony. However, if he tries to play innocent and lie, Gabby Hanna's story would be a really big factor in shutting whatever kind of story he wanted to run with down.
I find your silence on this situation to be uncomfortable because I know that if Tana's allegations are true, then silence would be your only option, since telling the truth would be tantamount to confessing to a crime, and lying would put you at risk of being contradicted by a witness.
So yeah, there's really no decision. Cody is straight up baster, buttered, and cooked here. And even if Tana was lying about all this, him being silent about an allegation that's as serious or damaging as this is just a dumbass decision to make for yourself overall. So no matter what way you try to look at it, Cody looks extremely suspect, but it'll only get worse once you realize Cody and his entire mod team are censoring or deleting comments that even remotely talk about the situation, which is something I don't really think an innocent man would really spend his time doing over making a response